Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 20th edition of the BS Podcast. For the 10th episode, I brought in the biggest guest to date. And for episode number 20, I decided let's just step it up. Let's bring in someone even bigger. Please introduce yourself, good sir.
Hello, my name's Peter. I run a channel called Minimme, and I'm excited to be here.
Tell us what you do.
I make YouTube videos that are about like unusual games. I kind of got big off this series called 5 Graphically Impressive, where I looked at like Game Boy Advance games and DS games that push the limits of those consoles. And nowadays, I kind of look at like weird ports of things to like phones and Game Boys, and mainly movie tie-in games like Avatar and Cars, and recently Jason Bourne.
Cars has been going pretty well for the channel.
Yeah, it's been doing so well that like most of my comments these days just seem to be review the next Cars game, as much as that drives me crazy. Yeah, I kind of have to like temper myself a bit. I need to put games in between. I think I'd go crazy if I reviewed a Cars game back to back.
Yeah, it's all about finding that balance. You gotta give the people what they want, but at the same time, you can't go too far into the hole.
Yeah, I don't really want to be known as a Cars channel, so I'm trying to avoid that as much as I can.
What inspired you to do this kind of content?
Whew, that's a big question, isn't it? Going back, so let's go back. So starting off, 2008, I'm 12 years old, I make a YouTube channel, I make animations, I get used to like video editing. Fast forward a few years, and I'm really into Classic Game Room. I'm really into an Australian TV show called Good Game. I'm really into like GameSpot, their website. I was really into like Jeff Gersman and Giant Bomb and all that stuff. And I wanted to make reviews for myself. So in 2012, I started uploading reviews. Did that for a few years. That was quite fun. Didn't think any of those reviews were very good. In 2016, after a decent break, I privated them all and started again. And since then, we've been going strong. So, yeah.
Up and up.
Yeah, apparently.
What do you think you're going to be at by the end of the year?
I don't know if 100K is hopeful or modest, but I'm hoping 100K. This year, I'm hoping to push myself into full-time, real career territory if I can. And it's fun. It's getting more stressful, but I'm enjoying it more at the same time. So hoping.
Yeah. So the first big question I have for you, it's what is your all-time favorite bad game? Everyone can talk about the games they really enjoy, but I feel like you're the perfect person to ask, what about the bad games? What's your favorite all-time bad game?
It's funny that I came up with an answer to this so quickly in my head, because Driver 3 is so much fun, and I am so into it, and I play it like every single year, and reviews gave it like 50s and 40s across the board. It is so broken that everything bad about it is fun. It's the kind of game where you can like drive into a gutter and your car will go flipping into the sky. It's truly terrible. But on the other hand, like it's very, very stylish. It's very, very expensive feeling. It has a fantastic curated soundtrack. It has great pre-rendered cutscenes, a pretty good story. It's like a game that is. It's a game that has tons of potential, and I just enjoy that alone, even though it doesn't reach its potential at all.
So I guess the solution here is just 2019 HD remaster.
That's my dream. If they remade Driver 3 and like fixed all of its problems, it would just be that'd be my dream game. That and like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, I could just live on an island with those two games.
So I've heard a lot of rumors that your feet are a key part of the reason your channel is successful as it is. Please explain this to me.
All right. So yeah, going back, a bit of a history lesson again. I released a video, I think it was 5 graphically impressive DS games, the first one. And it was at a point where I just had no idea how to sign off my videos. So I just said, if this video gets 1 dislike, I'll show you a picture of my feet. And somehow that one joke that was at the very end of the video, that according to my analytics, no one even got to the end of the video, seemed to just escalate like crazy. And just throughout my channel, it's just infested with feet jokes in the comments. I'm not sure I really like it. Like, it's not a great look for someone rocking up to my channel and they just see all these feet jokes everywhere and they're like, you know what, maybe I'll click off this, but you know, I don't know, it's funny.
Yeah, it's definitely off the wall.
Yeah.
But hey, I think you gotta embrace it a little bit, but not too much.
I feel like at first I embraced it a little too much and now I'm just backstepping a bit, trying not to make a foot joke in my video whenever I can.
Every video, just make a subtle reference.
I mean, I kind of was doing that for a while, but it's a little off-putting. Like, if I stepped into someone else's shoes and found my channel, I'd be like, this is weird. I don't know what to think.
How does it feel to be British?
Fuck you. Can I swear on this?
Yeah.
Okay, fuck you. No, it's fine. Like, so yeah, that's another running joke where everyone seems to think I'm British, including yourself. And like, that was a really funny moment. I actually burst out laughing when you said, like, because for context, while we were setting up this podcast, Wes was like, we were setting up a time, and Wes were like, "That's like 4 a.m. for you, isn't it?" And I'm like, "No." And Wes is like, "You're British, aren't you?" And I'm like, "No." So, yeah, everyone thinks I'm British because I don't talk like super like, "G'day, mate, how's it going?" So, yeah, that's a running joke on my channel that I've leaned into, and now people think I'm British.
For me, I had never thought of this joke before. This wasn't something I was in on. For me, it was just, I don't know. We've been in the same circles for a good couple years now, and I don't know. I just assumed, I guess. You know what they say about people that assume?
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, because we're in the same circles, and like, I think everyone but me is either American or British. So it's a safe assumption. I don't blame anyone for, like, I'm joking when I'm angry, but it's funny.
So virtually, you're at least like 50% British by now, right?
Yeah, well, I think my heritage is British, so, you know, you're technically correct.
As a consumer, how do you feel about the Epic Game Store and their tactic of paying off publishers to get exclusivity for a set period of time as a way to compete with Steam and force people to go to the Epic Store if they want to play certain games on the PC?
So I hear a lot of stuff about Epic Games, that they're kind of a dodgy company and they might be like data mining you. And if all that stuff's true, then this is bad. But otherwise, I actually don't care that much. I'm not so emotionally invested. Like, to me, it's just, I either click on this black and white icon or I click on this black and white icon to play my game. But on the other hand, stuff that is coming out on Steam and stuff that's about to come out on Steam that Epic just suddenly buys, I find that to be a little distasteful, but not to the point where I'm so annoyed about it personally, but I can see why people are. And I do find that it is convenient having everything on Steam, but, you know, not too bothered.
Yeah, that's my perspective on this. Like, I'm all for competition in theory. I don't feel, I understand the point of competition, but for me, and I feel this way about Steam and Netflix, I don't really want multiple places to have to go to watch everything. I liked the concept of everything's in one place. And with Netflix, we're quickly leaving that territory. And with Steam, thanks to Epic simply buying people out, we're getting away from that. And while it's not the biggest deal in the world, for me, it's just a little bit of a pain in the ass to have to be like, now I have to download the Epic Game Store. And now I have to deal with 2 launchers. And although that's not a big deal, that's such a nothing issue in the big scale of things. It's just an unnecessary annoyance for me.
Yeah, like I can see, like it is slightly. I think the key difference between like Netflix and Spotify and like at least our launchers are completely free to use. It's just like part of me is like, man, I really just can't be bothered to like um I've never opened the Windows Store, for example. I kind of want to play the Gears of War HD remaster, but I've just never been bothered. Um, but on the other hand, I don't think we're really close to it getting so out of hand that we have like 50 launches. But I can see like the slippery slope eventually getting there, which would be bad. But at the moment, not too bothered.
So, do you think the concept of exclusivity within the PC games is this going to cause people to lean back into consoles more since that's one of the biggest deals. Everything's in one place on PC for the most part, and that's always been most people, at least one of their pros for why PC's better than console. But if we begin going into this, do you think that takes away?
Not not really. I don't think that like I don't think that the inconvenience of having to use a different store is so annoying that you would stop using your computer entirely.
Very true.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be something though? I have to do 2 launchers. Fuck this whole computer thing. I'm just gonna do everything on my phone from now on. I'm gonna sell this computer. I don't need a computer anymore. I mean, what else would I do with a computer if it's not playing games? Just sell it. Who cares?
I love that. I love the idea of like the massive Metro 2033 fan. The game wins Steam and he just freaks the fuck out and sells his computer and buys a PlayStation. Like I get that it is annoying though. I don't want to discredit the issue, but it isn't as insane as I think the internet is amplifying it to be.
I can agree to that on one end.
Yeah.
So, related to this story, or at least I'm gonna say these stories connect, Valve plans on giving a facelift to Steam with a library redesign, a new events page. Have you heard about this?
I've seen a headline, but I haven't heard much more than that. But I think it does need a facelift.
Alright, so the biggest changes comes via a redesigned library page featuring advanced filters, which you can see for yourself. There's pictures that you can find online. You should all look at that and see if you're gonna like it. There's been a mixed response so far. I don't really have an opinion because I'm mobile exclusive right now. So the current layout doesn't bother me because I never use it because I don't use Steam.
Yeah.
The new design surfaces it has your recently played at the top and a second highlighted area which focuses on games in your library with recent title updates. The rest of the library is displayed below with a gallery of Netflix-style box art. Players have the ability to search through their libraries now with custom filters. The second major change to the Steam storefront is the new Events tab, which is a one-stop shop where players can see all the games they have received, recent title updates, or are running special events like a Double XP weekend. Think of this space like a mini vlog within the store where developers can write updates about what's going on with their titles, blah blah blah. You get what I mean.
Yeah. So Steam has always tried to do something with their like community side that I've never personally interacted with that much, and I don't think that many people do, because you know how there's like Steam forums and Steam community tab and you can upload screenshots and videos. It's interesting that they're going harder into that, and I think honestly I wouldn't mind seeing that succeed. I think more sub communities around games is a interesting thing and a wonderful thing. As for the actual facelift, I don't know. I remember the first time. I remember when the current Steam came around and we got out of that weird dark green Steam, and everyone was kind of upset at that for some reason. But I feel like that was a great change. So I'm like, I don't know. Netflix style is a bit whatever. Everything's a bit too big, and there's not enough information on screen. But like, as long as you can search, I'm fine with it. Is there still going to be lists? Can I get my game in just a nice simple list?
I think so. I don't think they're going to remove that filter or that
Okay.
option. That'd
Well,
be
that's
pretty
that's all
weird.
I need. Yeah.
Do you
I
think
think
these
it's
changes are happening because of Epic?
because of Epic.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I do know
Because
because yeah, Epic
competition is
saw.
around now.
Yeah, yeah, I do genuinely think that that these stores are at least providing enough competition for Steam to up their game client wise, because the client is kind of laggy and dodgy as and it's quite ugly as well as functional. Like it gets the basic functions right, which I'm happy with. I don't know. I don't know what I'd improve with Steam. Like, there's nothing so bad about Steam that I would move to another platform. I don't know. I haven't thought too much about this.
Yeah, that's a big question. What could Epic do? Because right now, everything I've ever heard about the Epic Game Store is not good. It
Yeah.
is not an improvement from what Steam does. So the question is, with Steam going ahead and be like, okay, we're going to update our stuff a little bit. We're going to try and elevate it and make that gap bigger. In theory, that could, maybe it's not the logic at all, but I'd have to assume that with Epic being around now and their, as you said earlier, their kind of distasteful way of, okay, the Metro, we're advertising this heavily on Steam. Oh, guess what? Not going to be able to play it on Steam. Come to the Epic Game Store.
Yeah.
So,
It's I think that is why they're doing it. I think like it's for the longest time everyone's like, probably for the last like 5 years or so, everyone's been saying that the Steam client needs a facelift, and now that Epic has come along and basically bullied them and it's finally happening, I have to assume it's because of Epic.
you know what I want from the Steam store, and I'm just gonna say this out of my ass. I don't know if the Steam store has it or not, but if not, I want the Steam store to have it, or maybe Epic could have it. I
Mhm.
want an option to just be like, hey Steam, play this game, just voice wise. Just bypass the whole list.
I'd be into that too, actually. I found myself using Siri on my phone way more than I ever thought I would. So, yeah, good idea. I'm into it.
Yeah, I mean, it's, especially when you're a gamer and you already have like a headset or a microphone like both of us have, what's the
Mm.
big deal of just being like, oh hey Steam, do this?
Yeah, it's interesting that voice recognition stuff hasn't made its way into gaming that much. Like, do you remember Tom Clancy's End War?
I do not. Explain.
That was an interesting game. It came out probably 2000, I want to say 2008 or 2009. It was way ahead of its time, and it was a RTS game, and it also came out on like PS3 and 360, and it came with a headset, but you could talk to the game, and you'd have like legions of troops on screen that you'd command, and you'd be like, I don't know, team 1 attack enemy team 3, and you'd tell them this and they'd go and do it, and that was the whole game. And I remember when that came out, it felt like this was at least going to be a bigger part of the future of gaming in some way, and then it wasn't. So I don't know.
Gaming is so. I think gaming in general, we need more new ideas in gaming.
Yeah, I
A
agree.
couple weeks ago, we were talking, me and Brax of Cry More Gaming was talking about single player games, and they just seem, they're lacking. Most single player games are just lacking nowadays. And something like that, that could be something interesting to bring into some kind of game, especially like Obsidian, for example. Why can't in an open world game where you're constantly talking to PCs and your character can't talk, why can't you be the voice?
Yeah, I think that, you know, voice recognition algorithms are getting so close to having a really interesting way of being implemented in games. I know that the Forza games, you could like change the radio station and talk to your GPS and stuff, which was cool. But yeah, like actual like full blown implementation on talking to NPCs would be amazing. And I feel like we're getting close.
And I think an even better studio to do that is Rockstar. Imagine you're playing GTA and you're just running by and then you yell into your mic, hey, fuck you, dude, and then they just start shooting at you.
Yeah, like it's such an ambitious concept, but it'd be amazing if someone tried to pull it off. It's because like it's when you think about this stuff in the AAA space games are so expensive these days anyway that you can't see them ever taking the risk. But like that goes to your point that like single player games are getting kind of boring because they're trying to reach the widest audiences they can by being like, you know, open world or stealth sections or climbing towers or crafting or just these things, these like hallmark mechanics that every game is trying to push in because they're so expensive to make that they need to try their best to stick to the tried and true formulas. Yeah, I don't know. I do genuinely think that like this is completely biased. It's completely because I grew up then, but like the early 2000s to me was like a really interesting golden age of like 3D tech was just kind of flourishing. So developers didn't really know what they were doing. So they were really just trying everything. Yeah, it's an interesting time.
I'm only 21, not to say you're much older. You're like 23, right?
23, yeah.
Yeah. So, but to me, like, even with Elder Scrolls, I want to play Oblivion, and I can play Fallout 3, but I can't stand to look at Oblivion. It's just too far back for me. For as big of a game as it is, I just can't immerse myself in a character that with a game that looks like that.
Yeah, I don't know, like, see, because I actually played Oblivion at the time, so to me, my memories of it are just like, this is the best looking thing I've ever seen. But now I look back on it and it's hideous, and I don't know if I could play it again. But like, I do go back quite a lot. Like, I've gotten into Morrowind quite recently, and I've been playing like Half-Life 1 recently. Like, it doesn't bother me as much.
If you did an HD remaster of all the Elder Scrolls games, I'd absolutely play them.
Yeah, it's funny that but
besides Skyrim, they don't need another one.
Good point. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting how we're in a time where graphics are aging slower. Like a game from 2014 doesn't look that different to a game from 2019, but a game from 2004 looks wildly different to 2009.
Well, I feel like what it boils down to is you can only go so far. Like, right now, the game characters for a big budget game, they look so game realistic enough. Where is there really to go? It's just improving the surroundings, really, is the next step.
It's definitely the law of diminishing returns. And it'll be interesting to see if the fact that graphics improvement is slowing, it'll be interesting to see if that somehow drives down development costs, because they can sort of reuse assets and, you know, engines will figure everything out quicker, and that might make for some more interesting game design. I don't know. It's a weird industry.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. So going from gaming to what I think you're going to look forward to a lot, that Dora and the Lost City of Gold trailer. I had you watch it. Every week I want my guests and I to consume one trailer a week. I try and find something I think is either going to be hilarious or interesting. This week is hilarious.
Yeah. So I'm someone who, like, I don't know if it's an Australian thing, but Dora the Explorer wasn't much of a thing here. So going into that, I have like basically zero context. I don't know much about Dora the Explorer other than like she points at a dog and's like, this is a dog. But that's all I know. So watching that trailer, I was quite entertained. Like, obviously it's not aimed at me or my demographic, but it looked fun, if a bit confused about its tone. Like, it starts out all playful and then they go to a high school and then she pulls out a knife in the forest and starts like, it's so odd. But it looked quite it reminded me of Jumanji, which I probably think is intentional because that was such a successful movie. New Jumanji.
I really enjoyed the new Jumanji.
Yeah, it was really, really fun. And if this is as fun as that, then I'm into it.
Yeah, for me, like, it doesn't really give me Dora the Explorer vibes as someone that watched that as a kid. It doesn't really give me those vibes. Like, sure, she's dressed in the right colors and she has a weird looking monkey, but it doesn't really vibe what the cartoon child show did. To me, it just vibes as a Lara Croft ripoff-ish thing. And that worries me, like, National Treasure plus Tomb Raider equals Dora and the Lost City of Gold. Oh, and I guess Indiana Jones. You can throw in that vibe too.
Yeah, it is. It is very. It seems confused with itself, which is quite funny. But you know, I like Tomb Raider. I like National Treasure a lot, and I like Indiana Jones. So could be fun.
And I'd like to point out, did it say where the movie's taking place? What country?
I don't know. I'd have to assume America, South America.
Okay, let's just assume America. The moment you're in school and someone searches your bag and finds weapons, you're potentially expelled.
Right, that's everywhere. Police called, like
yeah, you don't get to bring weapons to school, Dora. Just because you lived in a jungle before, you think that gives you the privilege.
Good point. It's. I didn't even have that thought. It's just so playful and whimsical that I'm like, yeah, okay.
So, without seeing the movie, just for that one reason, I'm gonna have to give this movie a B+. Because it can't hit an A with that completely inaccurate thing in a movie clearly full of accurate details.
I'm going to have to assume that the actress playing Dora wins Best Actress, the film wins Best Picture, Best Script Writing, and Cinematography.
I don't know about that. Moriarty from Crime War Gaming last week and we were talking about how Aladdin's going to be the best movie of the year. I don't know if Dora and the Lost City of Gold can compete with the Aladdin movie.
You got a point. Wait, hang on. So, what do you think? How would you compare Aladdin trailer to this?
Well, Aladdin got an F from me because Moriarty assured me that the Aladdin movie is also going to be inaccurate, just like the original movie was. You see, the thing about Aladdin that everyone but me apparently missed, I'm the only genius that got this. Aladdin is the genie. And for everyone to deny that, I can't get behind your movie.
Oh. So, hang on. Stepping back, probably the last time I saw the Robin Williams Aladdin, I was probably 4 years old. I literally have no idea who Aladdin is. I thought it was the main guy. I don't know what you're joking about. I'm very confused. Help.
The genie is not Aladdin, but because the movie is Aladdin and the biggest star, and I think most people's opinions was the genie, I like to say Aladdin was the genie, because it just kind of fits.
I'm into it. I mean, Will Smith as Robin Williams as Aladdin. How do you feel about that?
I think it's hilarious, and I'm not offended by it at all, because on one hand, I don't think like Hugh Jackman can be replaced as Wolverine. I don't think Johnny Depp can be replaced as Captain Jack Sparrow. I don't think Robert Downey Jr. can be replaced as Tony Stark Iron Man. But when it comes to Robin Williams and the Genie, I just don't have that strong connection I do for the other ones. So it doesn't bother me in the least. But I understand why it bothers people.
Yeah, the only thing that really got me was how just dodgy it looked. Like, it was very, very weird looking. Like the CGI, something was just off. I don't know. It was weird.
I think going into the movie, you have to just look at it like it's an entertainment movie. Like with Alex Jones, it's entertainment. Don't look at it for facts. Look at it as entertainment, and you're really going to enjoy yourself.
That's got to be the first time someone's compared Aladdin to Alex Jones.
Hey, I'm still not over the Joe Rogan podcast with Alex Jones from like a few weeks ago.
I heard horror stories about that.
I watched that whole 4 hours and 40-something minutes, and I was so entertained. Because I don't look at it for I don't think half of what he says, or even that, is factual. I think he's purely entertainment for me. And looking at him like an entertainment person, A+.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. His stuff is insane on such a just cartoonish idiocracy kind of level that it's pure entertainment.
And And I get why, okay, we don't need someone spreading false information or getting people panicked. So I understand why Alex Jones is getting crapped on in for a multitude of other reasons. But
Yeah.
for me, that I get it, but entertainment's entertainment for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with what you just said.
It's kind of like with Donald Trump. There's entertainment there. Although he should be
Yeah.
taken way more seriously, but to me, entertainment.
Yeah. It's funny being in Australia where to everyone Donald Trump is a joke here. Like it's just like look at what he did today and everyone just giggles about it.
Yeah, I think he's a joke too, don't worry.
Yeah, so I don't know what it's like on the internet. Everyone's constantly divided about it, but here in my real life, everyone's just having a good old laugh, having a drink, looking at the headlines, seeing what he screwed up today. It's a bit sad, really, but it is funny.
And I mean, controversial statement of the episode. While I'm not a Trump fan or supporter, I'm not gonna say that he's done 100% wrong.
Oh, sure. Look, I don't know enough about it. I can't think of anything he's done right, but I'm sure that's correct.
Yeah, I mean, look at it like this. America's still around. We haven't gotten nuked yet.
We're setting a real low bar. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
pretty
can't
much.
comment on politics, or in American politics at least.
So are you ready for this potential complete flop of a topic?
I'm preparing myself.
Alright, so, just in case you don't watch or care about any of the following, I want to go ahead and run these down because it's something I care about, but I recognize, especially if you don't live in America, maybe you're not watching these shows or movies. Maybe you are. Maybe. But probably not. So, this week we learned Supernatural is ending at season 15. I think this is heartbreaking. I love Supernatural, one of my favorite shows every year. And I hope they go out with a bang.
So yeah, I guess so. I've seen a little bit of Supernatural and it was good from what I've seen. I was super amazed it was still going though. For like I thought it ended about 5 years ago, so I'm pretty out of touch
Nope,
with
still
Supernatural.
going strong.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I'll believe it's over when it's over, because they've advertised a final season before, and we never knew what really happened with that. Like, we got midway through, or we got pretty much to, like, there's gonna be, like, 12 episodes, and we got to episode 8, and they stopped saying it was the last season, and suddenly there was, like, double the episodes than what was supposed to happen. I never figured out what happened there. Were they just trying to stir up people and be like, oh, Supernatural's coming to an end? Guess I need to watch it and see how it ends.
Yeah, maybe they all had the existential dread of like, what do I do afterwards? So they just kept it going.
Next up, The Conners has been renewed for a season 2. I don't think you have watched The Conners. It was the spinoff from Roseanne, which also, go back to, may not have watched.
Yeah, I've never heard of The Conners or Roseanne.
I enjoy The Conners. It's one of the only comedies I still enjoy. Anytime I get into a comedy, it gets cancelled. I hate it so much.
It feels like they get cancelled more frequently than any other genre of show.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, there was this one comedy, and it took place mainly at a bar, and they did a whole season live. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. And then, what do you know? Got canceled. Couldn't do another season.
Yeah, don't know why that happens.
Anger Management with Charlie Sheen. Really enjoyed that. Got canceled.
I remember a Matthew Perry TV show. I can't remember what it was called, but he had like a self-help group that he used to hang out in. I had one season and I really liked it. That was years and years ago, but that got cancelled after one season also, which is a bit sad.
Yeah, similar concept.
Yeah.
Something like that's hilarious.
Yeah.
And finally, Suicide Squad, the sequel to the Suicide Squad movie, is going to be a complete reboot. And for me, that makes me feel like I wasted my time and energy watching the first one, even though I liked the first one more than most people. Most people just crap on it completely. I enjoyed it as a movie meant to entertain me.
Okay, so let's dive into what you just said. Is it
Okay.
Do you enjoy it as something that's bad that you enjoy, or as something you think is good?
I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was entertaining. Do I think
Okay.
it's historically accurate to the circle jerk comic people? No. But do I care? No.
So when me watching that film, I thought it was like hysterical. I enjoyed it from start to finish, back to back. I'd watch it again, but it wasn't. Yeah, like I liked seeing all the bad decisions they made play out. But on the other hand, there were good things about it. I really, really liked Jai Courtney as Boomerang, and I thought that the actress who played Harley Quinn was really good. She's also an Australian. Represent.
What's her name? I have
Margot
it on
Robbie.
the tip of my tongue. Yeah.
Yeah. She was great. So the two Australians in that movie were great, and I'm not saying that because I'm an Australian. They were just really good. I thought Captain Boomerang was hilarious. Yes, super biased, but I really like Jai Courtney, which I don't think anyone does. So if they reboot it, I hope they at least bring back Margot Robbie, but I have no idea what a reboot means. I have no idea who's out, if they will bring over anything.
In this case, they could completely wipe out the cast and bring in a whole new cast, or it could be part of the cast. I've talked about in a previous BS podcast that Will Smith will not be returning to Suicide Squad. And for me, you remove Will Smith from the first Suicide Squad, I don't like that movie nearly as much. I enjoy Will Smith a lot compared to some people.
I find him really charismatic. He's an entertainer. To me, he's not like, there's no outstanding thing about him, but whenever I see him, I'm like, oh yeah, it's Will Smith. I like that guy.
Here comes the Men in Black.
Men in Black was good. Bad Boys and Bad Boys 2. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think if they were going to bring over anyone, I think Will Smith would also be a good pick. I think Jared Leto probably went a little too far, but I could see him pulling it off if they reworked it a bit. I don't know. I don't know if this is a good move.
It'd be hilarious if they completely did a total reboot, but made all the same mistakes they made, according to people, the first time. And they just went deeper. They went deeper into the hole.
I'd be so into that. It's like even more awkwardly edited and weirdly dark.
That crocodile dude, Killer Croc.
That
main
was
character, talking all the time. He's the main talker. He has more screen time than anyone else.
I'd be so into it.
Joker always in the background laughing.
I genuinely enjoy bad movies, and I know people could judge me for this, and I enjoy bad games too. I feel like I'm supporting an industry I shouldn't support, but I don't know, I really like I go and see movies that I think look bad just because I get into I saw Mortal Cities recently, of Mortal Engines, whatever that was called. And from the get-go, that movie looked awful, and it wasn't great, and I was entertained the whole time. I don't know what's wrong with me. Maybe there's something going on in my head.
To me, a bad movie is one that's just completely boring. If you're boring, you suck. But if you're so bad, you're hilarious. A+.
Yep, I'm into it. I also really like X-Men Origins Wolverine, which no one seems to like.
I do too. I like it.
Good. I would put it as my second favorite X-Men movie behind Logan. How do you feel about that?
I have not watched Logan yet.
Okay. You should. It's really good.
I, as a kid, really enjoyed X-Men 2, and I still really like X-Men 2.
I think X-Men 2 is the best of the first three.
And something that makes it so great, what does Wolverine drink in that movie? A fucking glass bottle of Dr. Pepper.
What's with you and Dr. Pepper?
It's my drink, man. Speaking of, just because we brought it up, people that are listening to my side, open up a new can of Dr. Pepper.
Good. I really, really,
Yep, gonna.
really like Dr. Pepper, but it's not common here. So when I was in the States, I noticed you could get Dr. Pepper like literally everywhere. But here you have to get it in like stores that sell American sweets and like only in supermarkets. You can't just buy Dr. Pepper anywhere. So whenever I get it, it's like a nice treat.
And probably overpriced as well.
Yep, it's like $3 a can. Not into it.
God damn.
Yeah.
But isn't everything in Australia overpriced?
Um. Yeah. Most things. Let's not get political, but most consumer goods, yeah, it's a bit more expensive.
All right. So we're just slide a little bit away. Disney seals a $71 billion deal for the 21st Century Fox as it prepares to take on Netflix. As part of the deal, Disney will absorb the Fox Film and TV Studios, the FX Networks, National Geographic, and the Indian TV giant Star India in its huge boost to its content. It plans to launch its new streaming service, Disney Plus. We've talked about Disney Plus a lot on the podcast. Later this year, as it challenges Netflix for future audience share. Before the takeover, Disney already boasted a fearsome catalog of content, including its classic cartoons, Star Wars, and many of the Marvel characters. After purchasing Fox, it will be able to add the likes of X-Men and Deadpool to its portfolio and take on Netflix and Amazon. The deal also helps Disney further control TV shows and movies from start to finish, from creating the programs to distributing them through television channels, cinemas, streaming services, and other ways people watch entertainment. Now, do you think you're even going to get Disney Plus? Like, not as will you personally get it? Do you think Australia is going to get Disney Plus?
No, I mean, not anytime soon. We don't have the infrastructure for. I don't know. Like we do have Netflix and all that. Like it's fine, but we're only 25 million people. That's like smaller than Texas and California, and I don't think we'll get it anytime soon.
How do you feel about Disney taking over Fox when it comes to the movie and TV show part of Fox?
Because like
now they have a 30% share in Hulu as well.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. Like I'm a huge movie buff. It's weird seeing a company just grow and grow and grow and be this monopoly. Like I don't really want everything to come out all Disney and sanitized. Like Star Wars feels very Disney now, which like you don't if I don't feel the influence of Disney in upcoming movies, then I don't care too much. But I do not really like the continually growing trend of endless movie series and the shrinking high budget individual projects.
Do you think the Marvel Cinematic Universe is hurt by being owned by Disney?
No, I think they've handled it exceptionally well, considering how much money it's making. But creatively, like they're still quite entertaining, and I still go see every one, which I didn't think I would at this stage. So they're doing a great job.
Endgame is gonna be so fucking good.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it.
I expect it to be the most profitable movie they've done yet.
Yeah, I wonder how close it gets to like Avatar, right? Like I have to imagine it'll be in the top 5. But Avatar is very far ahead of everything else, so I'm not sure.
I've never watched Avatar. I've only seen the better Avatar, The Last Airbender.
Look at you already saying it's worse. Yeah, Avatar is interesting thing about Avatar is, if you don't know, I made a video on it. I made a video on the video game version of Avatar, and in that video, I just basically talked about the game. I didn't really say my opinion on Avatar, but a lot of comments were just blurting out how much they fucking hated that movie, and that really took me back. I didn't know that there was this massive internet backlash on James Cameron's Avatar, because personally, I really, really enjoyed it. It's like one of my favorite movies almost. So it's funny to see the internet's opinion on that film, especially so many years later. Like it's a bit of a running joke that the movie, is the most profitable movie ever made, yet it had no cultural impact, is the meme about it. Yeah, interesting movie looking back on.
Did they make an Avatar too?
They're currently making it, and I believe it comes out in 2021 or 2020. And it also has a video game coming out with it that's been in development for ages by the same studio that made The Division. So I'm actually super looking forward to that, especially because apparently The Division 2 is quite good, so I'm trusting them a little more with it.
Logically, I have to assume they kind of fucked up by waiting so long. Didn't that movie release like a decade ago?
Yeah, literally 2009, the end of the year, I think.
Yeah, I was thinking 2009. So, in my head, if you have the most profitable movie of all time, no, you shouldn't release a sequel the next year. But, like, within 3 to 4 years, you should have a sequel out.
I agree I agree in general. I think a lot of the appeal of Avatar as well was just like the visual effects and the 3D and all that. I'm not sure if that many people are holding out for an Avatar sequel like I am.
3D's dead.
Yeah. But on the other hand, don't bet against James Cameron. Like he's made, like Terminator 2, Titanic, and Avatar, and they all just blew away the box office. So I wouldn't be surprised if he pulls it off again, even if it is a sequel.
Wouldn't that be something Avatar 2 does better than all the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies?
Sorry, repeat?
What if Avatar 2 just completely blows away all the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies?
I guess that would prove to the internet that people do actually really like Avatar. I feel like I'm in a crazy minority, but I think it's just because I'm in this internet where all these echo chamber opinions of Avatar kind of come out at me. I really, really like it, and it's a weird thing to like as much as I do, I feel like.
Now, I'm going to put a disclaimer here that what I'm about to say is completely just trolling people, just a little bit. But is it right that when people play the board game and the video game Monopoly, they play to win and be the Monopoly, but in real life, people that play Monopoly in real life and want to have a Monopoly in real life, that's not okay, that's frowned upon. I think people are very hypocritical here. Don't you agree?
Look, the comparison is apt. I'm into it, but I think there's a few more nuances. I don't know. Just taking a stab.
Disney just wants their monopoly, okay?
Yeah, they're just all they're doing, man, is just walking around America, landing on places and buying things.
Imagine if Disney bought Pornhub and completely shut it down.
Yeah, because they don't want their image to be tarnished. They're family friendly. So they just buy it to shut it down out of spite. They're like, fuck this. Get it out of here.
That would be incredible. That'd be hilarious. And the outcry. You see how many people complain about Tumblr when they banned adult content? What would happen if Pornhub got shut down by Disney? People would riot.
It'd be such a funny thing because like people wouldn't want to stand for it, but secretly everyone would be really annoyed.
It would be hilarious.
I just love the idea, like someone does like some fucking like Aladdin Rule 34 porn on Pornhub, and Disney's like, nah, fuck this, buy the whole thing.
Exactly. So, I told you before the podcast I had a new idea for a segment to do on the podcast. I'm going to try this out. If it doesn't work, won't do it again. But I have 2 games for you on this episode. Yeah. The first one, it's a guessing game, which may not sound very exciting, I'll admit. But using your infinite knowledge, I want you to guess which countries are in the top 5 for world happiness right now as a country. For 2019, by the way.
2019?
Yep.
I'm going to go Sweden.
Sweden is not in the top 5. Sweden is number 7. You're already at 1 strike.
No, Norway.
Norway is number 3. You got one of them. Good job.
Canada?
Canada is number 9. So you still got the top 10, but not top 5.
New Zealand?
New Zealand is number 8. You're doing good. If this was the top 10, you'd be banging. But
Okay,
nope.
Australia?
Australia is number 10.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to Europe. Denmark?
Denmark is number 2. So you
Alright,
got
so-
in Denmark and what was the other
Norway.
one you got? Yeah, Norway.
Norway.
You got number 2 and number 3. You're missing.
I don't know.
I want you
Iceland?
to at least figure out number 1.
Iceland.
Iceland's number 4.
Okay, well that's good.
So you're marking them off.
So hang on. No. I'm thinking like, what's near Norway? What's the one that Amsterdam's in?
I'm from America. Do you think anyone here is educated on anything outside of America?
Starts with
Gee.
N. It's like between British and Britain. I don't know, man. Number 1 is Netherlands.
Netherlands is number 5. So you've got everything in the top 5 besides number 1.
Is it European? No.
I think it's incredibly sad that I can't tell you yes or no off the top of my head right now.
Okay,
America education. I want to say yes. My gut says yes.
I want to say like, I can't. Is Germany? No, it's not Germany. Germany would be a bit lower.
Do you want to know what Germany is?
Probably like 11th or 7th or something.
Germany is number 17.
Oh, okay. We're happier than Germany. Go us.
Yeah.
Hang on. So Sweden, Norway, Finland.
Yes, Finland is number 1.
Yeah, nice.
And so Australia is number 10, the United Kingdom's 15th, Germany number 17, the United States is 19, Japan is 58th, Russia is 68th, and China is 93rd.
Ouch.
Well, that's what happens when you have a social credit score.
Yeah, I heard about that. That was just scary as shit.
We talked about it on the podcast as well. It's fucking batshit.
Yeah, that shit's insane. Fucking Orwellian.
Yeah, I can't wrap my head on how in a game, if this was a video game and that was a concept, I could see it. If it was a movie and it was a concept, I could see it. In real life?
Yeah.
Come on.
It feels like Blade Runner. Like, yeah.
So, how did you feel about game number 1? Did you enjoy your guessing game?
I did enjoy my guessing game. I feel like I need to test my geography every now and then. Finland was on the tip of my tongue the whole time. I knew there's like 4 countries really close to each other. But anyway,
Finland's European, right?
Yeah, it is European.
Okay. America education didn't do me proud.
No, they're going to teach you guys
I still
better.
knew it.
There's a rest of the world out here. Yeah.
Alright, so the next game I have is giving you the power to be judge, jury, and executioner. I'm going to lay out scenarios that happened this week. And you are going to tell me what their punishment should be based on. Just based on what you think. I want you to have fun with this. Are you ready?
Right. I'm ready. I'm scared, but I'm ready.
Our first criminal scum is a man who ate a live goldfish and posted the clip to Snapchat.
He should get a promotion at work.
What? On what merit? What job does he have that he's getting promoted for this?
I imagine someone like him works at an aquarium, maybe? No, I don't know. That's fucked up. If the fish was dead, I'd be into it, but maybe give him a fine. Yeah, fine him. Fine him like $100. That's weird.
Do you want to know what his actual punishment was?
I'm scared. Tell me.
He was fined approximately 508 American dollars.
All right. Like, I don't know if that's steep one. Like, you ate a live fish, so yeah, sure. I'm down for that punishment.
This man did not live in the United States, by the way. I just converted it from pounds because who the fuck?
Oh, okay.
The majority of my viewers are not from the UK. No offense to anyone that is from the UK listening to this. I love you. But America is my core viewership right now. So gotta convert it to the majority.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm better with US dollars than UK pounds anyway, so.
That's good. Okay, so our second criminal scum is a man who returned his library books 53 years late. Tell me, what should be his punishment? 53 years late.
Realistically, thousands of dollars. Unrealistically, electric chair. Libraries are important. That's annoying. Do you have an answer? Can I guess how much they actually charged him?
Sure, if you want to.
I want to say they either forgived him out of goodwill because it's hilarious, or they charged him like, 53 years? No idea. Nah, you tell me.
Okay, so this was a middle school library. This is not really context that I felt you needed for this judgment. I felt electric chair to the guy, that poor middle schooler 53 years later that didn't bring in, but he felt guilty 53 years later. He found these books in his attic. So, for whatever reason, he knew exactly where they belonged. I assume they may have had, like, something in the back or front that said where it was from. So, he went to the schools, gave the books back, and they're like, you know, this would be about a $2,000 late fee, but it's been 53 years. We're just going to waive it off. So he got no punishment.
I thought that would be the case. It's just too comical. Like, why would anyone care by that point?
Hey, as you said, books are very valuable. Put him to the death.
Straight to the chair. Fucking hang him on a cross.
Now, this one, I'm going to be very critical of your answer, and if you answer poorly...
Ooh.
Imagine you're in Fallout, New Vegas, and you just, killed townspeople, and that town now fucking hates you. This is going to be me if you do the wrong answer here. Our next criminal scum, a cow ran away from Indiana police. It blocked traffic as it was heading to Chick-fil-A. What do you think the punishment should be for this cow?
For the cow? Or not for the fart? For the cow? Give it some Chick-fil-A. That's impressive. Feed it.
I'm happy with your answer.
Like, I find it weird when animals, like, what happened? Did they kill the cow? I hope they didn't.
No, I was very stressed when I first read this story because I was sure they were... Because when I seen the pictures, it looked like if putting it from, instead of a cow, if it was a human, it'd be like there's multiple cops' cars, multiple cops surrounding the person, and it was like they acted like he resisted. He was on the ground tied up.
Put your calves behind your head.
But no, it took it to a pet sanctuary where it will live happily for the rest of its life. That was a great conclusion. I was happy with the...
Yeah, that's heartwarming.
They named it. I don't remember what they named it, but they named it. So, they got an emotional attachment.
The Chick-fil-A cow?
It just wanted some food, man.
Yeah.
So, summing up this game, one person you gave a promotion to, one person you sentenced to death via an electric chair, and the cow, you rewarded it with some Chick-fil-A.
That doesn't come off well. If I was a celebrity, you could probably quote some of this and be like, Minimme said cow should get not cow, Minimme said guy that returned books should get the electric chair. More news at 7.
53 years late, though.
Yeah.
How did you feel about the second game I brought to you this week?
I enjoyed it. I was a little stressed out when you described the concept to me.
Were you
But in
worried
the
I was
end-
going to be like, mass serial killer?
Yeah, yeah.
No, I
was
went
worried
into
you'd
this
be like a drug
concept.
trafficker. Like, what am I meant
No,
to
I
say
went
to that? I
into
don't
this
know.
concept being like, okay, it doesn't need to be anything super dark. It needs to be something funny. Like, okay, live
Yeah, I agree.
goldfish. Yeah, I had to bring in light-hearted stuff. This can't be, oh, serial killer, rapist. These things, no, that ain't what the game's for. This is for light-hearted things. To see how the
Yeah.
guest reacts.
I'm into it. I think that's a good game. I like the other game too, with a bit of statistical guessing. I don't know. Like, if you get a guest on who's real bad with geography, I don't know. I don't know how well the game will go.
Well, the only reason I did that because it would be a lot more interesting than being like, hey, did you see what is the happiest country this year?
Yeah, I agree. I like that.
And then you would have been like, no, I didn't. What is it? And I'd be like, oh, it's Finland. And you'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm feeling good about myself that I managed to eventually guess the top 5. I feel smart. So you've made me
I
feel
don't
smart.
feel smart. I feel like Tennessee education did not do me proud.
Oh, sad day.
But hey, you know, I wish I would have seen where North Korea stood. I'm surprised they're not first on the happiness scale because Kim Jong-un clearly would be like, you better say you're the happiest fucking place.
It's like people there seem to be doing great. I don't know what everyone's complaining about.
Yeah, they're number 1 to the happiest country in the world.
I think the very end of that list would be an interesting game to play. I don't know what it'd be like. North Korea and like Saudi Arabia, some African countries. Gets a little dark.
No, when
though.
I looked at, they listed the top bottom ones, but I didn't recognize half of them.
Oh yeah, they'd be very.
I think
poor
the very
countries.
bottom of the bottom, it was South Sudan.
Yeah.
That was the
Yeah.
very bottom. I remember that. But most of those countries, never heard of them before.
Interesting. Yeah, that makes sense. Like, I guess if extreme poverty-stricken country wouldn't be a very happy country.
But hey, at least as an Australian, you can at least feel happy that you're happier than the United States.
I do feel very blessed to live here, but yeah, I don't know.
Even
Everyone
if
should be happy.
video games cost a hell of a lot more and you don't get all the streaming stuff.
Yeah, like the cost of living's higher. The internet is awful, which sucks as a YouTuber, by the way. I run into so many problems, whether it's the internet cuts out and that sort of thing. But yeah, no, we have good health care, we have good attitude, we have good education, that sort of thing.
If it makes you feel better, last week uploading the podcast, it took 10 hours.
Yeah, that makes me feel a little better. But then again, I've been trying to upload a video for like a week now, so you know.
Can we have a sneak peek of what your next video's about?
My next video is about EA Skate, the Java phone version that no one knows exists.
I seen you did a Java phone version of what was the game you did last for Java?
The last one I did was Kane and Lynch.
Yes.
That's another kind of, the main version of Kane and Lynch is another kind of bad game that I really, really like, in the same vein as Driver 3. But yeah, I've covered Kane and Lynch, I've covered Far Cry 2, and I've covered Hitman Blood Money, all on Java, which I think it's such an unexplored world, at least on YouTube or in general. Like, no one's really played these games, and I really, really enjoy it, going into them and digging them up and playing as much as I can. But it's funny because, like, usually when I research for a video, I try and like congregate opinions and get reviews at the time and get all this wiki information on the games. But these games, you Google them and like very shady like Indian websites come up and like just nothing relevant at all. So I kind of have to come up with everything myself and tell it as I see it, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. And another thing about Australia, that I could never live in Australia just because of the higher chance of like a huge ass spider.
Yeah, like we
No,
see
thank you.
them. But I think there's like been a comically low amount of like spider and snake. Like I think it's been one death in the last 50 years. But the fact that they're just so big and threatening seems to scare a lot of people off. But like America scares, like you guys have bears, man. You have like full fucking 7-foot bears to beat the shit out of me. Like I don't want that. Like
We also have a lot of guns.
yeah, that too. That scares me, but that's a very, very heated debate right now. So I don't know how much I want to get into it.
Very fair.
Mm.
So I guess we'll back it up a step. You're allowed to make one Disney film PG-13. Which character's line do you alter to add your one allowed swear for the biggest impact?
Oh man. I can't. I don't know that many Disney films. I know Pixar pretty well, so probably a Pixar movie. I can't think of any iconic lines. What would you change, Wes?
I feel like I'm gonna take it in a new direction, and since we're talking Disney, I'm gonna go into Fox. We're gonna go into the Fantastic Four movie. We're the new one, the one that completely flopped. And I'm just gonna have the Thing be like, at the end of the movie, you know what, guys? Fuck this. This was awful. And that'd be
I'd be
the end of
so
the
into
movie.
that. I wish that happened in. I wish that happened in Cars 2. So, because I'm doing Cars 2 at the moment, like making a game review or whatever, and I watched Cars 2 last week, and Jesus Christ, that movie is not good. It's very beautiful, but like it feels like the writing is aimed at like 3-year-olds. It feels very condescending. So yeah, if Lightning McQueen midway through his race, about to win at the finish line, was just like, you know what? Fuck this movie. I'm out. I'd be into that.
Yeah, that'd be great. Some movies you just gotta take it in a direction and be hilarious. If you can't be good, be funny.
Exactly. I agree.
Alright, so I'm gonna put you in charge of running Heck. Heck is an afterlife for terrible people who aren't quite evil enough to get into hell. What are some of the tortures you design?
Ooh. You know those little things on your fingernails where like the skin dries up and stick and you have to pull it?
Uh-huh.
I just have their hands covered in those.
Oh my.
Yeah, that's my one thing. I don't know. Maybe they'd have to watch Cars 2 on repeat. This is too torturous though. I've gone too far because these aren't terrible people.
The Golden Bolt has to watch Shrek forever.
Shrektober is every month.
He can only speak in Shrek quotes.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, Bolt has to stick to Shrek content. I have to stick to Cars content. You just have to talk about cows all the time and Dr. Pepper.
No. Hey, I can do that.
True.
I'm still upset with Australia. How could you let the cows drown like a month or two ago? How could you let it happen?
I think I missed this story. I don't know. Did you see that?
Y'all
Did you see that
horrible
really big? Did you see that really big cow in Queensland recently? It was like comically large. It was like 6 or 7 feet tall.
Yes.
Oh, so good.
My question is, would that cow be friendly or mean?
He's a country town boy or girl. So as an Australian, they're usually pretty friendly. I find probably quite approachable.
Very good, very good. Because I see cows have emotions too. While they're not as in depth as a human, they're like cats or dogs. They have feelings. Some are nicer than others. But, you know.
Yeah, I like animals. I like cows.
What are you looking forward to when it comes to games this year? Are you looking forward to anything special this year?
I don't play a lot of new games.
You play a lot of old bad games.
Yeah, like unironically, yes, I do. I I think the Outer Worlds looks really, really good. I'm looking forward to that. And I really like Obsidian
Exclusive
games.
to the Epic Game Store.
Yep, of course. That's very recent news too. So I think that'll be good. Obviously, Cyberpunk 2077 I'm very into. Not that I was super into The Witcher, but like that cyberpunk aesthetic is super cool to me. Like Deus Ex is one of my favorite games, and I think that'll be really, really fun. Otherwise, there's not a lot. Like The Last of Us 2 is a really big one. I really liked the first one of that game.
Ooh, I
What?
can't wait.
Yeah,
I cannot
so
wait
good.
for The Last of Us 2.
But like otherwise, there's not heaps. Like a lot of my favorite series are quite esoteric. In the way like if they made another Driver game or a Hitman game, I'd be stoked. And they did just release another Hitman game, so I was really into it. But you know, at the moment, there's not heaps for me to be keen on.
For me, I get excited about one game a year, and it was The Outer Worlds for a brief time, but I've kind of zoned out of that just because it doesn't look like the experience I look for in an RPG like that. I care about my character. I always play in third person in like Skyrim or Fallout, unless unless the aiming is so bad that you need to be first person for it. I spend most of my time in third person, and since third person isn't even an option in the Outer Worlds, I just worry how much I can put myself into the character.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I haven't actually seen a lot. I've only seen the announcement for it, and I just saw that like Obsidian's making an open world RPG. I'm interested. I'm actually really looking forward to the Master Chief Collection on computer. I think those games are amazing.
We talked about that last week.
Yeah, right. So yeah, I really, really like Halo, especially co-op. I've played through like the first 3 of them co-op more times, I think, and yeah, just that like of all the games I've talked about so far, the port to PC of the Master Chief Collection is probably the one I'm most excited about.
The last game I got really excited about that I never heard anything about it. I haven't played yet because I'm waiting to play games until I can actually stream. Because I want my first experience to be on stream for games.
Right.
So I minimally play games, and like when I play Skyrim and Fallout, I avoid the story as much as possible and don't absorb it in the head.
Yeah, so do I try to just not watch trailers at this point because but by the time Skyrim came out, I felt like I'd already played it when I hadn't, and that kind of disappointed me.
But like South Park Fractured But Whole, I was super hyped leading into that game, and then it released, and nobody really talked about it. And it just kind of died off.
Yeah, it's funny when that happens.
I don't know what went wrong.
Was it a good game?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay. Are you waiting to play that on stream?
Yeah, I will one day. I'm gonna play the Stick of Truth on stream too. I have played and completed that game though, but it's been a couple years, and yeah, I liked it. That's why I was surprised Fractured But Whole didn't do super well.
Yeah, it's like I remember Saints Row, the one they did after 4, Gat Out of Hell. That just seemed to like come out and no one cared. So I have no idea if it's good or not. I should check it out.
Very true, very true. How do you feel about Saints Row versus Grand Theft Auto?
I have fairly unconventional opinions on both series. I think that Saints Row 2 is the best one, and I think that Grand Theft Auto 4 is the best one. For as far as how they compare, I don't know. I'd if you put them both in front of me, I'd probably pick Saints Row, but I think that the GTA series is far more ambitious and far more important to gaming as a whole. I don't know.
So the final question I have for you on this podcast, we're going to go rated R with this one. This is out there. You get $15 billion, but every time you bathe, shower, have sex, masturbate, or do anything naked, an unblockable camera appears and films you doing it on live stream with a notification going out to everyone's phone/computer when it happens. Do you take the money? Why or why not?
How much money?
$15 billion.
To everyone's phone in the world.
And computer.
I wouldn't.
And they get a notification.
Nah. Like, it's not even tempting. I think that would drive me fucking crazy. Like, I'm not mentally strong enough to handle that. I know I'm not.
Hey, you could always talk about bad games while you do these activities.
just chatting to 7 billion people about Driver 3 in the shower.
Having sex, talking about the next cars.
Yeah, talking about Tatum Lynch. No, like that. No, that's too much. I've read I've seen a lot of podcasts and read a lot of books and all that sort of thing of like ultra famous people, and people just seem to go rich when they don't have any monetary. People just seem to go crazy when they don't have any monetary problems. So no, thank you. I'm good. That sounds horrible.
So there's no amount of money that could change your answer.
No.
What if it wasn't just the money, it was financial security for you and your whole family and everyone pushed for the next 1,000 years? You're all financially secured. You just have to take the sacrifice.
So hang on, what's financial security? We talking like ultra rich, or are we talking
You
living
never have
wage?
to worry about money for everything.
Like my whole family for 1,000 years?
Yes. But this includes even the family you don't like.
I generally like my family. I feel like I see this as a sacrifice for them. Because, I don't know. Yeah, probably. Because I could use that money for good, I suppose. I don't know. Yep. All right. Yep. I would do that.
So there you go. I found the scenario in which you will do it.
Yeah.
So just keep in mind, this is probably going to be quoted in 10 years when they're exposing you for whatever they want to expose you for.
When I get into some deep heated YouTube drama, everyone's like, this guy said he would kill a guy for returning library books too late.
Exactly. And it's going to be boldly, it's going to be like, well, Shrek would never do that.
Yeah.
Knack would never do that to anyone.
No. American hero Knack.
They need to make another Life of Black Tiger game just for Bolt.
Yeah, I've been holding out for the sequel for years now. I can't believe they haven't. I want to see what happens in the life of Black Tiger. It sounds like a sitcom. It's like it's like the mix of like Pig Panther and like the life of Brian. I don't know. Like they should do a sitcom adaptation of the life of Black Tiger.
Yeah, I can imagine a musical intro. Dun 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 dun. Here, introducing Life of Black Tiger.
And then it just cuts to like the shitty 3D and the bad animations. What am I watching? What is this shit? Get off TV.
Best TV show of all time. The story of Life of Black Tiger is incredible. It's truly a masterpiece.
Inspired.
Yes, anyone that doesn't agree, clearly you also don't think Aladdin's the genie. Clearly you don't believe that the Dora and Aladdin movie is going to be movie number 1 and 2 for the year.
Yeah.
So tell us where we can find you.
You can find me on www.youtube.com/minimme, MINIMME, which is horrible for SEO. So don't search Minimme. If you want to search something, search 5 graphically impressive. You can find me on Twitter, and I have a Discord server, and probably in other places like Patreon and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. All the links will be in the description below. I hope everyone has enjoyed this episode. I'd love to hear your thoughts on all of the topics we talked about, especially, do you think that you should be sentenced to an electric chair for returning books 53 years late?